Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. No intro, no nothing. I figured you guys would want to see this. Trump showing up, arriving in Alaska. This should be interesting. This meeting should be interesting as well. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Brooklyn, thank you so much. That really means the world to me. Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow, that's very sweet. Thank you. I'm glad to make you guys laugh. Hopefully make you think as well. I appreciate that. Maybe one day I'll get on the road and do a show on the road with you guys, talking about stuff going on in the world in your neck of the woods. Maybe that's something I'll do in the near future. Maybe like a live show, live in front of y'all. That would be a lot of fun. Maybe. But for those of y'all who don't know what's going on, okay, I'm gonna mute this for right now. All right, because and I'm gonna see if we're more up to date. Okay. So camera's moving around. Trump has landed in Alaska. Now, the reason why this is a big deal is because let's keep it real. There's a huge conflict going on between Russia and Ukraine. Trump has been hell-bent on trying to basically squash the beef between Russia and the Ukraine. This is a massive, massive meeting. This is a huge meeting, okay? Huge meeting, okay? And if everything goes according to plan, if everything goes great, this meeting could be a step in the direction towards peace between these two countries. Now, anything is possible. Everything's kind of up in the air right now as far as what's going to happen between Putin and Trump with this meeting. But nonetheless, Trump is doing he's really trying to squash the beef from what I'm gathering, okay? Is he really going to try hard? Some people say he's not trying hard enough. Some people think he's trying really hard. I leave that question up to you guys, okay? But nonetheless, this meeting is specifically to see if he can try to get these people, to get both countries to walk towards squashing the beef. And I'm going to tell you this. Doesn't matter what the leader is, if you agree with Trump, if you don't agree with Trump, at the end of the day, personally, I want peace. I don't know about you guys, but I want peace. Okay? I think we all want peace. So if this goes according to plan, this will be amazing. You know, here's the other thing too. Who out here wants war? You see what I'm saying? In any shape or form. Who wants war? All of us want world peace for the most part. All of us just want to live our lives, make a whole lot of money, okay? Have some really, whoa. What just happened there? What just happened? Oh, I hit something. I hit a button or something like that. I was in the middle of talking about the hibbity dibbity. We all want to live our lives, eat some good food, have some really good hibbity dibbity, okay? Love the ones that we love. Have a nice roof over our heads, be around the ones that we love, and if you want to procreate, can bring kids into the world, see them grow up, see them succeed, and pass on from this planet, right? That's what we want. Just happiness, pursuit of happiness, peace, okay? Peace on this freaking planet. But you know, everything's on fire right now. The whole world is on fire. I think we all agree on that. Okay? Good food, good hibbity dibbity, good money, good moments with your family, and a good death. You know what I'm saying? With your families around you saying goodbye as you start to cross over. That's all we want. An amazing life, a beautiful life, not a life being torn up by war and chaos. And I think that's what we all want as humans, right? For the most part. There may be a variation, like, Diddy wants Baby Oil and Astroglide, and big juicy hogs, okay? But other than that, we all want the same things for the most part, right? So we're about to see something that could be the start of the end of the wars going on between Ukraine and Russia. What say you guys? How you feel about that? This is weird. I don't understand why they have the camera over here. Put it back over next to Air Force One. Bring it back over towards Air Force Ones. Okay? So yeah, let me unmute this really quick. And sound is only coming out of my right ear, just so you guys know. Sound. Okay? And then I guess it's bad reception over there. Yeah, I don't know if Putin's going to stop. I really don't know if... I personally don't think Putin's going to just go, okay, I'll just stop. Why did that happen? What the hell just happened, man? Come on, man. Oh, man. Come on, man. Man. All right. I'm looking elsewhere. Give me a second, guys. I hate when that happens. That's really annoying. Let's go to this one. Okay, this one's better because they got it right on the Air Force One. Okay, so hopefully they stay there. But we'll be able to see Trump come out of Air Force One, and then apparently they're going to be sitting down and having a conversation. I think this is a very, very big deal. And if he's able to successfully do this, I will be shook. I just don't think it's going to happen. Putin, he be Putin. And let's not forget, Zelensky be Zelensky. So I just don't think we're going to see a happy medium, like, an agreement between these two parties. I just don't. I just personally do not. Okay. So yeah. Yes. Big deals. Very, very big deals. No perspective. Big deals. Putin, big freaking deals. Привет, comrade. Привет. So, again, this is going to be a very, very interesting meeting. It's supposed to happen in 20 minutes from now. So we're gonna keep coming back to this, okay? Because there's so much going on in these streets that we need to talk about. Of course, he might not get out of that plane for another, I don't know. He might be getting debriefed right now. But I just don't think that he's going to be hopping out of that plane anytime soon. But let's talk about this though, okay? Let's talk. Let's talk about it, right? We got some live updates, so we're going to take a look at that too. So let's take a gander. Let's take a little gander, shall we? Take a little gander. So. Ooh, that's interesting. Here's some breaking news, at least from what I've seen. Hold on first. Let's get back. There's some breaking news here. that just broke about a minute ago, which is very interesting, or maybe about 9 minutes ago. Okay. But the red carpet arrival will be hard to stomach, they said. This is what a European diplomat said. European diplomat told CNN that it will be hard to stomach the red carpet arrival of Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska as Russia's invasion of Ukraine persists, given the horrors Putin's forces are inflicting on Ukraine daily. That kind of treatment would be hard to stomach, the diplomat said. So Trump, as of 9 minutes ago, is apparently no longer meeting with Putin one-on-one. So the one-on-one meeting that had been planned between Trump and Putin will now include advisors to the two men, according to the White House. So that's an interesting curveball. That's interesting. So instead of it just being the two of them going, Melania, you know what I mean? Hey, Putin, no more about that anymore. You don't listen to me. It'll be completely obliterated. None of that's going to happen anymore. Now they're going to have two other advisors in the room with them. See, here's a question. And because, I've never really listened to Putin really talk. Does he speak fluent English? I don't think he's fluent in English. So he would still need some sort of translator in the room to conversate with good old DJT, right? Wouldn't he? I've been working on the imitation, by the way. So thank you. I've been working on it. Literally, it's weird. Have you ever seen a person by themselves trying to imitate Trump? Just have you ever been a fly on the wall watching somebody trying to imitate? Just like Melania. You know what I mean? Have you ever been in a room where somebody's just by themselves trying to sound like Trump? It's weird, and I'm doing it by myself. That's weird. Okay. But I'm like, I think I'm getting it now. I'm getting it a little bit. Melania. Oh, Melania. I'm working on it. It's not perfect. But, I appreciate that. Thank you. Baby steps. It's a little weird. My dogs are looking at me weird like, bro, no, stop. That's not your real voice. They're starting to bark at me like, intruder. You know what I mean? But you look like you. You know what I mean? You look like my fur daddy, It's very confusing for my dogs. But let's continue, okay? So, no more is he going to be with Vladimir Putin by themselves. Now, oh my dear Lord, she's there. So, Press Secretary Caroline, okay, Levitt told reporters aboard Air Force One that Trump would now be joined by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, okay, and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff for the bilateral portion of the talks. Okay, because I'm sure there's certain things that maybe they have to talk about or they can address better than Trump. You know what I mean? Trump, he's like, we're going to make a big deal. We're going to make a deal. It's going to be beautiful. But they're going to be like, well, let's get into the specifics really quick. We know the specifics. He's just here to kind of do the wink, nudge, handshake, schmoozing part. But we're the ones with the details. Maybe that's what it is. Which, if that means them getting closer to saying we got a deal, right? We're walking towards the way of peace. I'm with it, right? I'm with it. Doesn't matter who it is. It could be a tyrant or it could be the most charismatic president on the planet. Doesn't matter. If we can get peace and we can get these wars stopped, shoot, let's go, right? So Levitt said earlier this week that the leaders would meet one-on-one, and it wasn't immediately clear why those plans had changed. I'd like to know why, too. After the bilateral portion of the summit, the delegations will meet for lunch. Rubio, Witkoff, Treasury Secretary Bessent, Commerce Secretary Lutnick, Defense Secretary Hegseth, and Chief of Staff Wiles are also expected to join. So this is going to be a whole lot of conversation. This is going to be a minute, y'all. Okay, so he has landed in Anchorage. So they hear. Let me just hit the. Yeah, they still waiting for his arrival to walk out, going, "Yes, I'm here." But moving on. So now we know that that's actually happening. They're saying it's no longer happening. Wait, hold on. Let's see what the other update is. Okay. Let's see what they say here. So he is no longer meeting Putin one-on-one. Why that could matter afterwards. The change up in the format of today's bilateral meeting from a one-on-one to a larger group is significant. I wonder why. President Trump's one-on-one meetings with Vladimir Putin, Russian President Putin, during his first term were shrouded in a degree of mystery, with only a translator inside the room. It is often unclear what exactly was discussed. So maybe having these other people in the room is going to be good. I don't know. Maybe it's going to cut through the BS a little bit. Maybe that's what it is. Aides had a difficult time ascertaining if the two men reached to any agreements. After one such meeting in Germany, Trump asked his interpreter to discard his notes. Interesting. In addition to aides to today's session, Rubio and Witkoff could allow for greater clarity once the meeting concludes, or they can conclude with Trump to cover up anything that might have been weird or anything that might have been hairy. Think about that for a second, right? If he's like, yeah, I am going to drop nukes on Ukraine. I don't care, right? He could say that. And Trump being like, well, I hope you do. And when you do, we're going to be right there, right? We will be dropping bombs bigger than you've ever seen before, right? That could be it. And then he turns to the people being like, Rubio, Witkoff, don't say nothing to the press. You didn't hear nothing from me. Just tell everybody it was a very nice, easy conversation. We had tea. I had a Big Mac and a large Diet Coke. He drank a couple shots of vodka, had a good, hearty Russian laugh, and he jumped on his plane and he flew back to his iceberg called Russia. Just tell them that happened. Tell the people that happened. All right? That could be it too, right? But particularly if Russia offers an accounting of events that differs from U.S. perspective, one of them will also be able to take notes, often an essential factor in the real-time record of high-level summits. So somebody in the room will be able to take notes, and hopefully Trump won't be like, yeah, get rid of it. Get rid of it. Just throw it away. Tell them you lost it. Tell the people you just lost the footage, the files. I mean, the list. Sorry. I mean, the notes. You know what I mean? Anybody picking up what I'm throwing down? Anybody smell what I'm cooking? Okay. So he's greeting Alaska politicians on Air Force One as he waits for Putin's arrival. So he's sitting there just chilling. I thought he was getting like debriefed on something, you know what I mean? But no, he's just sitting there going, okay, hi, Alaska, then it was just full of ice, you know what I mean? It's quite nice. Melania, you know what I mean? But we'll see. So he's still aboard Air Force One as he awaits Putin's arrival in Alaska. As he waits on the plane, he's greeting Alaska Senators Murkowski and Sullivan, as well as the state governor Dunleavy, according to the White House. Trump has a somewhat contentious relationship with Murkowski in particular, who often opposes his priorities in the Senate. Sorry. So they don't get along. So that's interesting. Okay. Let's see. White House officials privately discussed the need for carrots to incentivize Russia on Ukraine, sources say. Why did they need carrots? Are they out of carrots? Is there a shortage on carrots in Russia? They don't need carrots when they make borscht, though. I get it. It's a joke, guys. It's okay. Somebody's going, no, it's not real carrots. It's a metaphor. It's okay. I get it. I get what they're saying. So they say President Trump said the focus of his meeting with Putin will be on settling the Ukraine war over business deals with Russia. But administration officials privately say there is a need to entertain carrots for Putin in order to get the wheels churning on peace for Ukraine. So the carrots, not physical carrots, guys, the carrots for the Russian side could include discussions about new business deals with Russia or a possible strategic arms deal between the two countries, both with Russian officials who have spoken to in the recent days. So they say there's certainly a willingness to discuss parameters. This is what one senior administration official, when asked if Trump would entertain a conversation with Putin about a possible arms control deal with Russia. But details of any particular nuclear deal are unlikely to be discussed at such a high level. The administration has worked closely with Europeans leading up to the summit, but there remains an impression among Trump officials that Europe does not understand the need to draw Russia to the table. So it is childish and impractical, said another U.S. official of Europe's aversion to entertaining any conversation that could be perceived as rewarding Russia for its 2022 invasion of Ukraine. So again, that's very interesting too. Yeah, I don't see any reason of giving them anything. You see what I'm saying? But they do have to find something that's going to make them go, okay, all right, you know what? I'll back off. We'll completely back off. If you give us this, and this, we'll back off. But it's got to make sense. It can't just be something where you just give them something that's going to make them stronger in a way and annihilate, completely obliterate Ukraine, the people of Ukraine. Let's not forget that, okay? And yeah, you ain't wrong, Medusa. South Park is going to go to town on this meeting. Yeah. You know what's interesting about South Park? I feel like South Park, okay, this is just in my personal opinion. I know somebody's going to disagree and go, no, but here's the thing. I think that South Park hasn't been, oh boy, I might be saying something that's going to trigger somebody, okay? And I mean this with love, but I feel like they haven't been relevant for a while, and now they're becoming relevant again. Is it just me, or does it feel like they weren't relevant for a long? Like they were still making shows, they were still doing comedy. People watched that show religiously, but suddenly it's come right back, right? It's come right back, and now people are like, "Oh my God, South Park is hilarious." You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Just saying. They haven't had they really haven't been part of the zeitgeist, you know what I mean? Part of pop culture in a while, right? Still doing shows. I mean, shoot, they have like 27 seasons or something crazy like that, right? And then suddenly they start going after Trump, and now boom goes the dynamite. They are relevant all over again. Let's take a look and see what's going on here. Yep, still the same thing. Yep, plane's still there. Stairs are still out and the door is still open. So nothing's changed in that regard. But let's oh, wait a second. Yep, same old thing. Nothing's changed. Let me see here, because I want to see if there's anything else. See if we got some people talking about this. Yeah, I mean, everybody's watching this. Real talk. Everybody's waiting for this moment. I get it, because this could be a very big moment. Real talk. Now we do know that Trump put out the if I'm correct, wasn't Zelensky initially not invited to the meeting, but then he got invited to the meeting, and then he said, "Nah, I'm good." Something like that. Now I could be wrong, but still, very, very interesting nonetheless. Let's see. Let's take a look at this.
NBC News White House correspondent Garrett Haake in Anchorage for us, and former U.S. ambassador to Russia under President Obama, Michael McFaul. Garrett, let me start with you. President Trump is en route to Alaska. We know he's planning to roll out all the pomp and circumstance for President Putin. What is the plan for today, and what does success look like for this White House?
Yeah, Anna, these summits are typically highly choreographed affairs. Today's will be no exception. We expect President Trump to arrive here first later this afternoon. He will then wait for the Russian delegation to arrive and greet President.
Here's the other thing, too. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it. I know some people are like, they're for Russia. Some people are for Ukraine. But regardless, why kiss his ass? Sorry, I'm going to say it out loud. Why kiss his ass? What's the purpose of kissing someone like Putin's ass? He's making sure everything's all put together for President Putin. Why kiss his mother loving ass? Why? Just something to think about. I'm just asking the questions. We're going to continue. Let's go.
President Putin on the tarmac, possibly a literal red carpet rollout for President Putin's first steps on American soil since 2015.
Do you see that's a little weird? We're rolling out the carpet. We're doing everything for him. You know what I mean? Just basically just whole face all up in his butthole. You know what I mean? Buried. Okay? Buried in his butthole like this. You know what I mean? Why? I don't know. Why do we need to kiss his ass? Don't get me wrong. We need peace. Yes, we do. There's a lot of people that have lost their lives, and a lot of Ukrainians that lost their lives, and Russians that have lost their lives in this crazy all-out war that's going on between these two. I get that. But I'm wondering, why do you have to kiss his ass? You know what I mean? They got the planes all lined up. You saw the footage. They got the planes all lined up, the red carpet rolled out. Why? Just seems a little odd to me, but let's continue.
The rest of the day, I think we should probably look at as open to change, but the expectation is that Presidents Trump and Putin will meet privately at first. Then there'll be a larger meeting with this broader delegation that on the U.S. side includes almost half of the cabinet. Anyone from the Commerce Secretary, the Treasury Secretary, to, of course, the dual-hatted Marco Rubio serving as Secretary of State and National Security Advisor. Then to close it all out, there will be a news conference. We will know at that time a little bit about how successful this meeting was, whether it is a joint news conference with both presidents or perhaps just President Trump, who said if things go poorly and Putin leaves, he would come out and address reporters on his own. The goalposts for this meeting have shifted over the week or so since it's been announced. I think the most recent set of expectations that we should probably stick with from President Trump is that they want to make this meeting create a second meeting that would also include President Zelensky and perhaps some European leaders. Really only at that time can any serious negotiations take place. So this is kind of as the White House press.
Negotiations, but I get what he was saying. I get it. It happens to me every day. But still, so Trump could walk out and go, it was a huge success. It was the greatest meeting that has ever been created on God's green earth. Or he could walk out and go, yeah, nothing's going to happen. We tried. Putin ain't going to move. He ain't going to budge. We threw everything at him, okay? Including, I don't know. A whole bunch of bottles of Tito's vodka and freshly made sausages. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? We tried everything. And he said no. We even gave him a bear that he could wrestle bare-chested with. And still, he said no. You know what I mean? So anything's possible with this meeting. It could be a huge waste of time. Huge waste of time. Huge.
Secretary described it a bit of a listening session and an opportunity for President Trump to feel out exactly how serious Putin might be about bringing this war to some kind of close.
And so, Ambassador McFall, let me set the stage in a different way, because so far in President Trump's second term, he's gotten into an Oval Office shouting match with President Zelensky. He did post on social media, Vladimir, stop, in response to Russian strikes in Ukraine. He threatened sanctions on Russia without actually putting them in place. And when he was asked about this meeting, here's what he said.
I think that what we have is a situation that should never have started, should have never started. It didn't start under me, and for 4 years it wasn't even discussed. And I could see it was going to happen after I left. I could see what was happening. Everything that we did was wrong. Everything that was done was wrong. Everybody's to blame. Putin's to blame. They're all to blame.
That was less.
By the way, do you guys remember he put out a tweet or a post on Truth Social basically saying that a former president, Russian president, said he got nukes out here. And so he said, you are not going to threaten America. And so we sent a whole bunch of submarines out to the Russian, to the Russian coast. Does anybody remember this? This happened just like 2 weeks ago. Something like that. Everybody was losing their minds about it. Like, oh, man, what could this mean, right? Are we going into another Cold War? Well, nothing happened. Nothing came of it, right? But it is interesting. Maybe that part of that, maybe they're having a conversation about that too, right? You know, I got to be honest. I'm going to say something really quick. I know some of you guys, I know that we have like a split room in the chat, and that's fine. I'm not saying anything bad about that. We are all allowed to have our own thoughts about how the world is working. We, of course, all are backseat drivers. You know, we all have an opinion on how the country should be driven. Okay. And I get that. But you realize that we have a situation right now that could get really bad in DC, in our own country right now. There's potential of it. Like this weekend could go off like crazy. And don't worry, we're going to make sure that notification bell is on. Okay. So subscribe, make sure that notification bell is set to all so you know whenever I go live, because it's going to be a lot of breaking news. I have a feeling that over this weekend. I just think it's very interesting that he has concerns, which I understand. The concern of trying to shut this thing down, trying to stop this war, when there could possibly be a war on our own soil here over the next 30 days that could be brewing and getting really bad over just this weekend in DC. You realize that, right? Like, he wants peace out there, but there's a lot of craziness going on American soil right now as we speak. There should be some concern and some focus on that too, right? Okay, just something to think about. We don't know how it's going to turn out. This could get very, very bad. Definitely people feel some type of way about this. And I'm just talking about us. U.S., right? But he's in Alaska dealing with this stuff that's going on in Russia and between Russia and Ukraine, which, of course, is completely commendable. Appreciate it. But there's a lot of stuff brewing now in America that he needs to focus on, too. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah. Just something to think about. I know he's trying to get that Nobel Peace Prize. Literally, that's what he's trying to do, Charles. I think that's what he's very focused on. He's like, I'm trying to get that Nobel, right? But then all this stuff that's going on in America, regardless of what side you see it, what side do you see it as, if it's a good thing or a bad thing, there's a lot of people that are not happy with it. and it's just brewing. And I'm sure there's going to be more demonstrations and more chaos in these streets here soon enough. But I digress. Not trying to fearmonger. I'm just pointing out the potential of it, right?
Than 24 hours ago. What do you make of that answer? Everyone's to blame.
Well, I hope that includes President Trump. Usually he leaves that part out. He sometimes forgets that the war started in 2014, and for 4 years of his presidency, he also did not end the war. But I do applaud the fact that he's trying to end the war. This is a big meeting. He called it high stakes himself. It's an opportunity to make some incremental progress. I just hope he has a strategy for achieving that objective. I'm nervous about the fact that they're going to be one-on-one. He will not have the same information that Vladimir Putin has. I've been in those meetings with him. Putin will come prepared. Putin knows the name of every single village that they're fighting in. President Trump does not. And he just has to be careful not to agree to something in that meeting that then jams President Zelensky, something that he could not accept.
Garrett, do we know if the president has taken part in any kind of focused preparation for this meeting?
I've asked that question this morning, Anna, and gotten no specific answer. This is a president who does not like written briefing books. He doesn't like to be briefed and prepped in the traditional way, whether it's for political debates or for many of the meetings and summits that he holds as president. But he is surrounded by all the people whom he would lean on in this circumstance, should he choose on this lengthy flight out here today, including Marco Rubio and others. He will be joined on the ground here by the chairman of his Joint Chiefs of Staff and his military team, who have the facts available to them. Whether the president avails himself of their expertise, I can't say.
Garrett, thank you for your reporting. So, Ambassador McFaul, you said you've been in meetings with Putin before. What's his style like? What is he like in these meetings?
Well, first, he'll be very prepared. He's been doing this for 25 years, right? He started with President Clinton, so he's had many, many meetings, a lot more experience at doing these kind of meetings than President Trump. Second, there's an asymmetry of knowledge and an asymmetry of interest. Ukraine, for him, is the most central foreign policy issue. I would say it's the most central issue of his presidency. That's not true for President Trump. He's got a lot of other things going on. And third, he is very effective as a communicator. He knows his facts. He knows his version of history. He may go back 300 or 400 years, by the way, and talking to the president about to try to explain to him why Ukraine is really part of Russia, why Ukrainians are really just Russians with accents, and the mistakes that were made by other leaders that divided those countries. He's wrong about those facts. I want to be clear about that. It's his own history, but he can be persuasive in talking about them. And that makes him a very difficult, I would say, a challenging interlocutor.
Is he a big talker? Like, does he go on and on for long periods of time, or is he succinct but coming back at you multiple times? What's that like?
Hold on. First off, if you've seen the interview with Tucker Carlson and Vladimir Putin, he's a talker. Putin is definitely a talker. So he likes the sound of his own voice. If you watch that interview, he just talks. And what's crazy is he's not wrong with what this guy's saying here is not wrong. He is definitely a Russian historian. Like, his version of history may be drastically different than another average Russian person's version of history. It's very different, vastly different. And he'll sit there and just talk about it like, it's quite an interview. It's interesting. And I was like, I remember either he was speaking English in that interview, or that it was overdubbed with a translator. And I remember now it was overdubbed with the translator, and he was just talking nonstop. It was pretty wild. Yes, I saw it because I wanted to see how this man moves. You know what I mean? How he maneuvers, how he talks, how he handles himself. If he sounds unhinged and crazy, and I'm going to be real, he has his own version of history. That's for sure. Is it crazy? I'm not Russian, so I can't really answer that question. But I would say this: if Trump was telling his own version of history and it was completely wrong, eek, I think we'd all be reacting to it and going, oh, you crazy, you mother loving crazy. Okay, let's take a look at this. Apparently, whoa, that was very blah. Oh God. Yeah, that was very anticlimactic. Oh, they're in Alaska and it's 2025. Just so you know. Yeah, I know that there's going to be a press conference later, that's for sure. Depending on how long, right? How long their meeting lasts for. That could last for hours. That could last for just, shoot, it could be 30 minutes. You never know. He might be sitting there going, no, we ain't stopping. I don't care what you give me, Trump. Nothing's going to change. Quite the display. Quite the display. Okay. Now they're going to take the letters. Look. Are they going to take the letters? Or not? Because now they're taking a photo like, this is the first time we ever seen Air Force One. We got to take a photo of this, man. Come on now. Come on, Drew. Let's take a photo real quick in front of Air Force One. Come on now. This is the closest we'll ever get. Let's go. Hilarious. Well, that happened. Okay. Ooh, this is interesting. Hillary Clinton said something about the Trump possibly getting the Nobel Peace Prize. Let's hear this.
Follow our top headlines of today. And of course, this story out of Anchorage, Alaska, where we are expecting President Trump to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin in just a short amount of time. This is a high-stakes meeting, and this is the first time in years. It's been 6 years since President Trump and President Putin last met in person. Now, we are getting in some social media reaction here that I did want to share with you. We are hearing right now from former U.S. Secretary of State and former Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton. Here's what she has to say. This post she just put out a short time ago. She says, if Donald Trump negotiates an end to Putin's war on Ukraine without Ukraine having to cede territory, I'll nominate him for a Nobel Peace Prize myself. She did accompany this with a video on her X platform. Let's play that out for you right now on Live Now from Fox.
If President Trump were the architect of that, I'd nominate him for a Nobel Peace Prize.
We are on the precipice of a meeting between President Trump and President Putin in Alaska. Drawing on your experience as Secretary of State, if you were en route to Alaska, what would you be looking to get? What does an acceptable deal look like?
He is not meeting with a friend. He is meeting with an adversary, and an adversary who wants to see the destruction of the United States and the Western alliance. But if he could bring about the end to this terrible war where Putin is the aggressor, invading a neighbor country, trying to change the borders, if he could end it without putting Ukraine in a position where it had to concede its territory to the aggressor, had to, in a way, validate Putin's vision of greater Russia, but instead could really stand up to Putin to make it clear there must be a ceasefire, there will be no exchange of territory, and that over a period of time, Putin should be actually withdrawing from the territory he seized in order to demonstrate good faith efforts, let us say, not to threaten European security. If President Trump were the architect of that, I'd nominate him for a Nobel Peace Prize.
You hear all that explanation? He said, because you know that Hillary Clinton does not like Trump at all, right? I mean, I feel like we all know that. And the fact that she's like, okay, if he did all these things and he made sure that he did this, that, this, and this, and the third, and he did this too. And then of course he had to make sure he did this too. And that had to be made sure it's a solidified thing. Then yeah. Then I would nominate him for the Nobel Peace Prize for sure. Outside of that, I hate his guts. You know what I mean? You know, if he just needs to do all these things first, and then once he does all these things first, and he's able to do it, then I would nominate him too. Because in a way, it almost seems like she's saying, like, I believe it when I see it. Like it would have to be, it's like a snowball's chance in hell that he's going to be able to get them to drop their weapons and do a ceasefire, right? But we'll see. We'll see. You never know.
So once again, that was posted just a short time ago there on Hillary Clinton's social media platform as you are taking a live look there in Anchorage, Alaska. Now, we do know that President Trump has already said he believes a peace deal would likely require the swapping of Ukrainian territories by both sides. But as we just heard there, Clinton said if Trump can negotiate a ceasefire, have Russia withdraw from the territory it seized, and bring an end to the war without making Ukraine concede territory, she would join the Nobel lobbying. I also did want to share with you another post that we brought you a little bit earlier in the show here from Fox's Jackie Heinrich, as we are learning here that President Trump did tell Fox's Brett Baier he would walk if this Putin summit doesn't go as planned. We actually do have that soundbite here that I did want to share with you, just about 30 seconds in length.
Okay, in the office with President Trump on Air Force One, heading in. What's your initial feeling? How are you feeling about what you're going to get out of this?
I think we're going to do very well. Our country is doing very well. We're setting records economically like we never have before, including the stock markets are all at a record high. We're taking in trillions and trillions of dollars with tariffs. We're going for a meeting with President Putin in Alaska. And I think it's going to work out very well. And if it doesn't, I'm going to head back home real fast.
I mean, if it doesn't, you walk.
I would walk there.
Wow. So wow, that's interesting. Okay. We're trying to get as much info as we can. Hold on. Is there more to that?
All right. So again,
and then we already, and they're just showing this just so you guys can see. They're just going back to that. So he's like, hey, if we don't get what I want, which is finding some way to get closer to a ceasefire, then I'm dipping. I'm out. I don't blame him. I'd be tired. I mean, shoot, you're flying several hours to go out there just to have a meeting with this guy. And if he says hail to the no, right? What is no for in Russian? No is it nine is Russian? What or is German? What is no? Niet, right? I think that's Russian, right? Niet. Niet. Yeah, it's niet. Okay, I was right. You think that it's like, okay, so Putin, he's like, niet. It's like, okay. Good conversation. We just burned a lot of jet fuel, but it's okay. I see you when I see you. You know what I'm saying? No. Yeah, they could have had a whole conversation over the phone. They really could have. You know? But now they're in Alaska, of all places. I guess that's what you got to do to try to make peace happen, right? But this is interesting nonetheless. Let's take a look at this too.
All right, let's get a preview now of what we're expecting in the next couple of hours with Jackie Heinrich.
Obviously, this has already happened, but interesting.
Hey, John, we have learned just now from a White House official some developments in what this afternoon is going to look like. The president was scheduled to have a one-on-one meeting with President Putin, and the White House is now saying it's going to be a 3-on-3. The president bringing along Secretary of State Marco Rubio and also Ambassador Steve Witkoff from the U.S. side. It's still unclear who might be joining President Putin on the Russian side, but following that meeting, there's going to be an expanded bilateral working lunch that will also include some other names. Rubio will be there. Secretary Hegseth is going to be there, Secretary of Defense. Also, Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, and this Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles. We know that the Russians brought along a huge delegation. It includes possibly hundreds of Russian businessmen who want to capitalize on whatever comes out of this and potentially seize on opportunities to strengthen economic ties and get around some of the sanctions that have been keeping Russia's economy down, looking to sort of enjoin the two economies and bring Russia back into the world economy. That might be out of the question if President Trump does not get what he wants out of this meeting, which is to be a ceasefire. He told reporters on Air Force One he's going to be very unhappy if he doesn't get one today. And he has repeatedly threatened severe consequences, including those secondary sanctions, if Russia does not negotiate toward a peace deal. He believes that it was the 50% tariffs on India that would have really crippled Russia's oil economy that brought Putin to the table. And he still has the potential to do that with China, the other big buyer of Russian oil, which would bring their economy from a place of bad to worse. On the other hand, he has touted the possibilities if Putin wants to do this right and come to the negotiating table earnestly and hash out a peace deal that's fair for Ukraine, the possibilities of joint economic partnership. Also, we know that Russia wants to talk about nuclear arms. And there was a comment from Putin released by the Kremlin yesterday that discussions about peace would only happen if there were controls over strategic offensive weapons, sort of a signal that they want to be talking about nuclear weapons, especially as Russia has been testing out its new nuclear-armed, nuclear-powered missile. So those are the things that are on deck. But of course, it's all going to hinge upon whether or not Putin is in the mood to truly talk about a peace deal and whether the president feels that it is genuine enough that a second meeting can be set up that would also include Ukrainian President Zelensky, where they can get to sort of the brass tacks on what peace would look like and what the U.S. role in that peace would be, including the possibility of security guarantees, which the president said are on the table this morning. So we are awaiting first images of the president as Air Force One has touched down here in Anchorage, Alaska, for this summit that the world is watching, John.
Jackie, Aisha here. Before we get to the talks and the substance, people have been making a lot about the optics of this. And I want to get your take because I think I was reading about a tabloid in Russia that read so much for being isolated. And it's been very interesting because, some critics have been saying, well, this is exactly what Putin wanted. He wanted the image of standing next to the most powerful man in the world. What are you hearing on the ground there? How are Russians potentially framing this?
Well, it almost doesn't matter how the Russians are framing it. The belief from the White House is that President Trump doesn't need to do things the way that everybody else does it. He believes in his own negotiating prowess and his ability to really figure out at a moment's notice, he said 2 minutes, whether or not someone is trying to hoodwink him. And you saw him directly also engage with the Iranians, gave them an opportunity to come to an agreement. They didn't do that, and he bombed the hell out of them and obliterated their nuclear program. The president
Obliteration
has similar sticks in his arsenal that he could use to try to push Russia further back on its heels if things don't go the way that he wants. But he believes that if anyone is able to work this thing out, it's him, and it doesn't necessarily have to happen through the regular ways that of diplomacy that every other president has employed.
So let me come back to what you said just a second ago, Jackie, about Putin coming in with a whole list of demands that go well beyond the Ukraine war, such as strategic offensive weapons, nuclear arms, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think that President Trump is going to give those desires and requests a whole lot of ear time, because he is there for one thing and one thing only, and that is to get a ceasefire in Ukraine and to try to set the stage for further meetings, a second meeting at the very least, to get Putin and Zelensky together to try to hammer out a peace deal. So I don't know that he's going to entertain all this other stuff that Putin wants to talk about.
Anyway, again, this is very interesting. They are having the summit right now, so I'm pulling this up here too, so you guys can see this. Shoot, hold on. Dang nabbit. I didn't know we're going to be able to see what was going on, but I'm with it. I'm with it. I didn't know we're going to see it. I thought it was going to be behind closed doors. But there's no sound. What the Hold on. There's no sound to this. And I know some of y'all are like, well, since they're in Alaska, they, if it's not all awash now, Donnie, you can still get some crabs. Just go get some crab legs after. There's a wonderful place where the waterfront is beautiful and the freshest of crab legs you've ever tasted. I'm telling you what, Trumpy, this whole trip is not all for nothing. Don't you worry. Just go get you some crab legs. Okay? Well, that was interesting. Hold on. I'm going to see if there's another feed because that was weird. You'd think that they would show what the f is going on, man. Let's see that. What the hell? Hold on. Yeah, see that's what's happening, which is weird because everywhere else that's showing that same feed. This. It looks like this. What the hell's going on? So I mean, if we're able to see what's going on, why can't we hear it? They need to figure this out. If there's supposed to be sound in the room, they need to figure this out. Did you see all that media in that room? There were so many people in that room. So why aren't they showing a live feed? You're seeing it on NBC. Let me see. This is bullshit. NBC. Let's see. Oh, I don't see a live. See, you're seeing that. Let's see if there's sound on this. Nope. It's all the same thing. There's no sound. It's kind of important, don't you think? Son of a... What the hell's going on, baby? Come on, figure it out, man. Stupid. I don't need to see the dude with the spiky hair. Okay? We don't need to see a throwback haircut of the early 2000s. Let's get into this. Okay? Are you gonna get... Are we supposed to be able to hear this? That's the question I'm wondering. Are we supposed to be able to see this and hear this? While they get their ish together, let me get these super chats here really quick. So, Michelle, thank you so much for the love. I'm sorry to say, I'm just waiting for the 30th shoe to drop. I think a lot of us are. Nikki, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for being a member for the past 13 months. I appreciate it. Over a year, that really means a lot. Carmen Eyes, thank you so much for the love. The more I see Putin's face, the more I'm convinced that he is the missing link that got away. I am done. Where's Fred and Wilma, caveman? I'm done. Dino is fueling the jets, luckily. Yuck. Slava Ukraini. I don't have anything to say on that, but on Putin looking like he's the missing link. But still, he here in a room with Trump. So he in a room with Trump right now. That's one thing for sure. But this is ridiculous. Look at that. So we got this going on. I'm looking around, guys, but they're all showing the same thing. Yes. Down. Thank you. Come on, talk. Heal the world. Make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. You know what I'm saying? Finish it. Make it a better place for you and for me. You know what I'm saying?
Just go up.
Come on now.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, press. 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 Let's go.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Get the hell out of here.
Let's go. Come on, guys.
Come on, guys. Let's go. Let's go.
Thank you, press.
Let's go.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
Let's go. Let's go.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
And that's it?
Everybody get out of the room.
That just happened. Is that one way to get people out of a room? Thank you, press. 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 Like, I'm going to do that from now on. If anyone gets in my face, I'm just going to say, thank you, press. 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 Oh, my Lord. That was hilarious. Oh, my God. Well, that actually happened. Would that work when your kids are trying to walk in on you while you're on the toilet, dropping a deuce? Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you. You know what I mean? No one? That was insane. I'm sorry. We got to go back to that. That looked like they were very comfortable for like 2 seconds, and then they're like, F off. You know what I mean? Let's take a look at that. That was a hot minute. That was a hot second. I'm sorry. Look.
Just go up. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, press. 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 Let's go. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Let's go. Come on, guys.
Come on, guys. Let's go. Let's
Wow.
Thank you, press.
Let's go.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
Let's go. Let's go.
That's insane. I'm sorry. That's insane. They're like, okay. And as soon as he's like, thank you, guys. Thank you, press. Thank you. Thank you, press. F off. Thank you. Wow. They said, "Das Vidonia, Beesney, get out." That was another Russian word, just so you guys know. I'm learning some Russian as we go. Dos Vidonia. That means good night. Or goodbye. Means goodbye. Podai kardoshku. That means pass the potatoes. Yeah. You know, your boy's learning some things. Подай картошку. Okay? Pass the potatoes. So here's the thing. Useless knowledge. One day it might help you. You might be like, thank you, Pascal. You saved my ass. Because one day you said, pass the potatoes in Russian. And you said, thank you, Pascal. If I did not know that, I'd be dead right now. Oh my God. That might be the question of who wants to win 1 million rubles. I don't know. Just, you know what I mean? You just never know. You just never know. You just never know. And that's why I'm here. Education. Quinquennial. You see? You see, we learn things on this show. Okay? Подай картошку. Pass the potatoes. Yes. I know some really, really bad curse words in Russian too that I'm not going to say, but I do know a few. Okay? Yes, the more you know. Da, 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 da. You know what I mean? I wish I had the sound effect. The da, 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 da. You know what I mean? Vodka. You know? Breathe. Anyway, I'm done. So we're just looking at an empty room right now, which is lovely. Okay. Which is lovely. So we're going to take a look at a few things while we wait, because we are going to wait. Yes, we are waiting. Okay. We're not going anywhere yet. We are waiting for. Hold on. Sorry. We are waiting to see how fast this goes. Okay. I'm just saying. Because this could be very fast. As Trump said, if he's not willing to budge, I'm out the door. He's like, I'm out. If he's not willing to sit down and work things out, I'm leaving. And I don't blame Trump for that. I'm going to be real. I don't blame him for that. I'd do the same thing. You mean to tell me I flew several hours out here to sit down with you only for you to sit here and say you're not willing to budge on anything? You're going to continue to decimate the Ukrainian people and that's it? That's all you're going to do? Man, F you. I'm out, man. You're not willing to work things out with me? I'm gone. And it's on you. Figure it out, baby. We're going to help out Ukraine, and you're going to see them in ways that you've never seen before. You know what I mean? You got to say it in a very Trumpian way. You're going to see new Ukrainian troops of the likes you've never seen before. You know what I mean? Very Trumpian. I will say this, though. I'm going to be real. It's been, 7 months now? And one thing is for sure, whether you are on his side or not, he has kept it quite interesting for the last 7 months. Has he not? It has been an experience for the last 7 months. Whether you're like, yeah, or you're like, no, you know what I mean? It's been an entertaining experience. Football labs. Okay, do you think peace will come from this meeting? You know, since this is just empty space right now. No. Okay. All right. Let me, okay. Football. Let me talk to you, football. Why are you called pigskin? That's another conversation in itself. So what I truly think, because I'm a hopeful person, okay? I lean on the side of, I want peace. If there could be peace and everyone drops their weapons and we all could live a copacetic life and everyone could be happy, right?
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you.
They're just repeating the same thing over and over again, guys, okay? Just so you know. Nothing new here. Nothing to see. Same crap. They're just saying F off. Hold on. What is going on? Okay, so football. Let me ask you something, or let me answer this. That just threw me off. Okay, but I truly am a hopeful person. Let me say this too. I think that Putin wouldn't just take a flight out to Alaska just for ish and giggles. So there is a part of me that goes, maybe he's going to be willing to work something out. He may not budge on certain things, but maybe there's some other things that he might be down for. But then it might be a thing where Putin might want something really big from Trump. Weapons, missiles, etc. It could be that. And he's like, well, there's something I want from you. There's something I want from America. So I'm willing to do this if you give me this. And maybe that's what it is, because he's like, man, I need more weapons. I need you on my side. We need to be right here. We need to be allies. So maybe that's what it is. But I don't know. A part of me feels like they're not going to come to a happy medium. A part of me does feel like he's going to walk out of that room. Trump is going to walk out of that room and he's going to be like, nah. He wasn't willing to budge. So we had nothing to talk about. So bye. That's the other thing too, Jay Blazin. Yeah, he still wants a piece of Ukraine. But I think there was rumor, and I don't know if this is entirely true, but this is just rumor. Rumor was saying that Trump was willing to try to give Putin a piece of that land, a piece of Ukraine, so that he can, you know what I mean, find that happy medium, right? And find that so that they can take that step towards peace. But you also got to remember, Zelensky's not in the room. He's the person that has to have that conversation with Putin, not Trump. Zelensky's the one who's supposed to be like, all right, we'll give you a piece of the land. We'll stop fighting. But he's not going to do that. Zelensky's not going to sit there and go, yeah, go ahead and take a piece of the land. Hell no, he's not going to do that. So who is Trump, of all people, if this is true, who is Trump to be the one making that decision? You see what I'm saying? The only thing he could do is be the mediator and try to talk to both sides. It's like I feel like we're in high school, right? And you got the two besties, three besties, they're best of friends, but then, one of them said that her outfit was fake. And so suddenly there's this civil war, a separation between the two besties. And the third one's just sitting there in the middle, trying to make it cool, right? Trying to go, okay, her outfit wasn't fake. It was fully Gucci. Susan, can you please take back what you said to Kelly? Right? And I feel like that's what's going on. But the third person, the most important person that should be in the room, ain't even in the room. Zelensky. Zelensky's not even in the room. So what kind of peace talk is this when you don't even have the other dude that's throwing missiles at the other dude in the room? You see what I'm saying? Only thing he could do is go, okay, Putin, you feel some type of way about Zelensky. I will talk to Zelensky about what you said. Yes, I get it. I know you're mad. You're mad. I get it. I'm on your side. I'm on your side, just between you and me. I'm on your side. I got you. But, I need to talk to him too. I need to talk to Zelensky. Okay, Pootie? Okay. But can we find something here? Can I get something to him? A little something? Let me see if I can get him something to you, but you need to give him something to him too, so we can put down the weapons, Pootie. Maybe. Like I said, I'm on your team. Then Trump goes and clicks and drags himself over to Zelensky. Zelly, sup, my boy. Listen, I talked to Putin, okay? And I'm on your side, okay? I hear you 110%, okay? But Zelly, listen, he wants a little something, okay? How about you give him a little something so that Putin can have a little something and we can drop these weapons? Okay, all right, hold on. I know you want to know. So I'm going to tell you right now. Don't get mad, okay? Just take it in, breathe. Breathe in with me, hold my hands, breathe in, we're friends. Okay, you ready? He wants a piece of your land. Okay. No. He just wants a little piece, just a little skosh, a minuscule, little tiny sliver of your land. That's all. And then we can drop the weapons and we all be happy. How about that? Because we can all get together, we can have our tea and we can crochet together again. Remember those times? You don't remember those times, Sally? They were good times. Can we do that again? Huh? Come on, Zelly, Big Z. Come on. Okay, how about this? Do me a favor, okay? Over this weekend, okay? While you're taking your kids out and doing your thing, okay? Think about it. Can I at least tell Putin that you're thinking about it? And then maybe we can all get in the same room. Maybe we can get on a three-way call. Okay? And I can get you guys to talk together. Yeah? That's pretty much what it feels like. Just a little bit. Except we haven't seen the Zelensky stuff yet. Because he's having a conversation with Putin about what? Sure, he's going, peace. Peace, brothers. You know what I mean? He's trying to get his Nobel Peace Prize. I'm sorry. He's trying to get his Nobel Peace Prize. Is he really trying for peace, or is he just trying to get the Nobel Peace Prize? Right? He doing the most. Okay? He's doing the most, though. Don't you think? Don't get me wrong. We need this peace, but at the same time, he's like, completely obliterated. Melania. You know? Completely obliterated. Where's my Nobel Peace Prize? Oh, it's still not? Okay, let me try to get this happening then. Now I'm focused, right? We'll see if it actually happens, but here's the thing. I think Pootie, has something that he needs from Trump, from America, okay? And I think that's specifically the reason why he is having this conversation with Trump in the first doggone place. That's what I truly think. Will they get to the place where they go and have peace? I'm hopeful, but I doubt it. I just doubt it. I really doubt it. I just don't think that they're going to be going in and being like, oh, great. We all got okay. You need something. He needs something. I need something. And how fitting that it all is something that you guys can each provide to each other. Perfect. Now, peace? I just don't see it. I just don't see it, guys. Yeah. We're going to talk about that, Jane. We got some time to kill, clearly. But we do have some things we're going to talk about here in a second. I just feel like that's the thing. Putin is here because he has something that he wants from America. I'm thinking, obviously, it's more weapons or something of that sort. Or their support, America's support. Don't be with Ukraine, be with us, or whatever the hell it is. Trump's not going to be okay with that. He's going to go and say, why don't we just stop the wars? And Putin's going to say, F no. I was almost going to curse. Sorry. But he said, F no. We good. I'm Gucci on that BS. Trump's going to be like, all right, I'm done. If you're not willing to talk, work it out, then it's on you. Good luck. God bless, Godspeed. Dos Vidonia. And he's going to walk right there and do his press conference and go, I tried, right? So we'll see what happens. Okay? We'll see what happens. But it does kind of feel a little bit like that. Just a whole bunch of besties having a hard time with each other, Just, I know it's a lot more serious than that. Let's be real. It's a lot more serious than that. A lot of people lost their lives because of beef. But they need to figure that out. Okay? So, Carrie, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Trump will never stand up to Putin to his face. We'll see. I don't know. Okay. Carrie, you're not saying something that isn't totally off. There are some vibes I'm getting right now that give me the vibe that Trump isn't planning on leaving office anytime soon. And I'm saying after his term. There are some things that are giving me the vibe that he has plans on staying longer. We're going to talk about that in a second. So, Carrie, he might admire Putin. Putin's been president for freaking ever, right? Long time. So what are the chances of him going, I really, I'm loving what you're doing over there. It's just loving it. Absolutely love it. Love it. It's amazing. What if he wants to have the same type of legacy like Putin, but his own version? Sounds weird, but wild things have been happening in these streets now, haven't they? Just something to think about. I'm just saying. Now, my theory could be completely wrong, completely effed up. Hopefully I'm wrong, because I don't think it's unconstitutional. It would cause quite an issue, right? But a lot of people are feeling some type of way about what he's doing out here, even to the White House. We're going to talk about that in here in a second. Robin Lynn, thank you so much for being a member for the past 4 months. I really do appreciate it. Pascal, you rock, honey. Aw, thank you. I appreciate it. I know I'm crazy. Okay, guys, I appreciate that you appreciate my crazy. Okay, it really does mean a lot because, I know I go off the rails sometimes, but I guess I wouldn't be me if it wasn't that now, would it? Right? But like I said, I would, I've been thinking about this a lot. Real talk, like doing hear me going off the rails here for a second. And we're coming back to the conversation. And don't worry, we're going to keep an eye on this. But I had this idea, because we got to get into some more information here, which is also very interesting. We're going to talk about here. Wait a second. I've thought about doing a little tour, get out there and cover some things, talk to you guys, do a live conversation about things that are going on in the world. Anything I want, really. And it's not a comedy tour. It's not like I'm check me out at the Funny Bone. No, it's not that. But I mean, just like a live kind of show, right? Just going around and doing some shows. I've thought about doing that because it'd be really great to meet you guys in person, but it'd be really fun to just kind of entertain you guys at the same time. Not like we're going to meet up at an Applebee's. Don't get me wrong. That's cool too. I'm not knocking that, go get your food, go get your, your appetizer and your entree for under $25. Okay. That's a steal. But just saying, it'd be kind of fun to do a live show with you guys, in person, do it live, be dumb, have fun, get serious, be dumb and serious at the same time. It's just fun. It's just fun. Now, here's the thing. Because Jane just mentioned it, so I got to bring it up. Okay. Hey, Vic, hold on. I said it was fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Applebee's is fire. Okay, the boneless wings are fire. I think they're fire. Okay, come on now. I get the chicken street bourbon with the mashed potatoes and the scrimps. Come on now. Okay, thing is fire. That is my go-to. All right. So trust me, I have nothing wrong. Now I'm getting hungry talking about damn Applebee's, man. God damn. Okay, Melania. We got to talk about this. I didn't get a chance to talk to you guys about this, and I think it's freaking crazy. I think it's wild. So from what I gathered, okay, we're still looking. Don't worry. I'm still keeping an eye on the conversation that Putin and Trump are having, and hopefully before the end of this show, they will actually come out of the room, hopefully with some good news. If he could do this, if he could be successful with this, I will be shook. I will absolutely be shook. I'll be impressed. I'll be shook, but I'll be happy because that means less people losing their lives. Okay. And that's what we want. We want peace. Do I think he's going to be successful? I'm usually a glass half full guy, but I don't know if he's going to be successful. I just don't. And I don't know. I feel like Trump. Okay. Hear me out. I'm going to pull this back up so you guys can see this, and we're going to talk about this Melania thing, which is crazy, okay? I think this is not good for various reasons, and this could be just me. Let's just ride with me. This could be me stretching, okay? This could be a stretch, but hear me out. Trump is so hell-bent on getting that Nobel Peace Prize that I feel like he'd be willing to move mountains to make it happen. That's not good. That's not a good approach when you walk into a negotiation like this, when you are smelling and reeking of desperation. I can see that being really, really bad and not be something that's in America's favor. Because he's so busy trying to get the peace so that he can get the Nobel Peace Prize that he's willing to be like, yeah, I'll give you whatever you want. Well, what if we give you a whole bunch of, big boom booms and give you the blueprint on some of our fastest planes? How's that? Would you be down to drop ceasefire? Will you do that? Because I really need this Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, I really need this peace between you guys. That could be it too. Okay? Put that on the table. Desperation could be there too. But I don't know, guys. I don't know. I am hopeful though. I am very much hopeful. And maybe we'll be completely shocked. And Putin has a soft spot out of nowhere, right? We shall see. Now, here's the thing. As we wait, okay, because we're keeping an eye, okay? Yeah, he is really desperately trying to get that Nobel Peace Prize. Real talk. He really is. Hold on. Water. He is very, very much desperate, right? For that. Something happened. Now, Hunter Biden. Yeah, I know. We might as well just hit the button. Hunter Biden said some things about Donald Trump's wife, first lady, okay, Melania Trump. He said that Trump actually was introduced to Melania by Epstein. Now, this caused quite a stir. because he did this. He said this in an interview. In fact, let me see if I can find this. Let me see if I can find a clip from what he said. But Hunter Biden, hamburger. Hunter Biden is a hot mess. I think we can all agree on that. Okay. Hold on. I'm trying to pull up. Is this the one where you said? Yep, here it is. I think this is it. Okay. Here it's a clip from a show called Channel 5. Okay. He had an interview with this guy and he had a lot to say. And I think this is the video. But in this video, he talks about how Melania was introduced to Trump through Epstein and Maxwell. Okay. This got Melania really mad. And if it's fake, if it's not true, I don't blame her for being mad. I don't blame her for being mad if she's being exposed as well. Let's just be completely real. But nonetheless, if you guys don't know about Jeffrey Epstein, then you need to go check out all these videos I've been doing about Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay. There's been a lot going on. All right. And you already know about Hunter Biden and how I just feel like his mind is a little warped. I think he's ate up to a certain extent because of his excessive substance addiction. Okay. To say the least. So again, like I said, you kind of have to take what he says with a grain of salt. But let's take a look at this video. All right. As we wait.
I think that his choice to not release the files was because there's not much of interest on there, or because he's compromised in some capacity by what's in the files.
I don't know. I truly can only go by what other people are saying. And one of the things that I'm certain of is that what I said before is kind of the Occam's razor, which is that, you know, the simplest explanation is almost always true. And what's the simplest explanation is that of anyone in power right now, or anyone that held power to the degree that Donald Trump is holding power now, his connections to Jeffrey Epstein are beyond a doubt that he and Epstein were very close friends for a very long period of time. They spent an enormous time together.
That's true. We know that. We all know about this information, right? We already know about the back and forth and saying that the list doesn't exist and it does exist and it doesn't and it does and it doesn't. We already know about all that BS, right?
They spent an enormous time together around young women, as in his own words.
Trump's got more pictures with Epstein than I do with my own grandma.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, just think about this. Is it when Ghislaine, how do you pronounce it?
It's technically Ghislaine.
Ghislaine.
I know that.
Yeah, Ghislaine Maxwell is when she gets convicted and he's asked about it. And this is when he was president, 2020 still. And he goes, you know, I wish her well.
I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach. But I wish her well.
And then he explains that comment.
Not the greatest look. That's for sure. Not the greatest look. Okay. But let's continue.
Like, she's a good person and I wish her well. Now, she's just been convicted of sex trafficking and, you know, dozens and dozens of teenage girls. When he's then pressed on it in an interview after that, he says, I wish her well. I wish everyone well. I don't wish anyone harm. Are you out of your mind?
Yeah.
He can't wish anyone well on Christmas morning without sending out a tweet or Truth Social or whatever it is, you know, blaming the leftist, you know, socialist, communist Democrats and Joe Biden and blah, 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 blah. I mean, literally on Easter Sunday, he doesn't wish anybody well. There's never been a time in which he's ever, in my estimation, wished anyone well, let alone a convicted sex trafficker.
Yeah.
And so what's going on there? Okay, well, they knew each other well. They spent an enormous time together. According to his biographer, is that Jeffrey Epstein introduced Melania. That's how Melania and the First Lady and the President met.
Really? Epstein made the intro.
Yeah, according to Michael Wolff. Yeah. And so I only can go by what people are saying, and I don't know.
Now, here's the thing. He just said, I'm sorry, the dun, dun, dun kind of went over what he said. But he said that he learned it from another party, that he heard this from a third party, and then he said this in this interview. I think that's a big deal. Hear it again.
Yeah.
And so what's going on there? Okay, well, they knew each other well. They spent an enormous time together. According to his biographer, is that Jeffrey Epstein introduced Melania. That's how Melania and the First Lady and the President met.
Really?
You heard that, right? This is massive. This is a big deal. This is this is a big deal to understand. Just so you know, the biographer who's been all up in these interviews, consistently being brought back onto Daily Beast and dropping bombshell after bombshell after bombshell of seeing photographs of Trump around younger looking females, etc. You know, real talk. He's getting that information. What he's saying right here is what he heard from a third party. He's not saying like a little rumor said this, this, and this. He's like, this is what I heard from a third party. I think I believe that to be a very important piece of information before we continue on. Let's hear the rest of this clip.
Epstein made the intro.
Yeah, according to Michael Wolff.
According to Michael Wolff, the biographer. Let's continue.
Only can go by what people are saying, and I don't know. Is the thing that is like I'm loath to do is like but feed into another goddamn conspiracy theory. It's just so destructive to the entirety of the cultural fabric. It's like, I think it's an important story, but I think it's an important story because of the victim.
Okay. And I agree. I think it's an important story. I think we all agree that it's an important story because it has to do with survivors. It has to do with these victims, etc. Now, could Melania Trump be an actual victim of the Epsteins, of Epstein and Maxwell? I don't know about all this, but what I do know is that she got very, very upset and is now suing Hunter Biden for these words that he said in that interview. She is suing him, from what I'm gathering, $1 billion. I'm not kidding. $1 billion. Because he said in an interview what he heard from a biographer. Just so you know. Okay? Now, for me, here's the thing. Because somebody in the chat, I saw in the chat, they're like, well, why do you say it like that? This is probably the most real he's ever been. Okay, fine. I'm not knocking that. But my problem is why can't we get somebody who is, okay, let me say this first. I'm not trying to dog any person that's ever, who is battling with addiction or has, battled addiction or is in the middle of battling addiction. I'm not sitting here saying that I don't, believe people that are having issues with addiction. No. But every once in a while, it'd be nice for somebody to come forward and speak out that isn't coming from a place where they've had a tarnished background of addiction and all the other crazy things that this guy is attached to. I'm talking about Hunter Biden, okay? So sure, this is the most sane and the most clearest he's ever been, the most realist he's ever been. It's kind of hard to take him seriously because of his history. For me, it's like, can it just be somebody who is just sober? They just read the Bible and drink Perrier? That don't have any crazy antics, smoking, rock and all that kind of stuff? Can we, leave in baggies, if you get what I'm saying, in the White House? You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm not sitting here saying that I want a perfect victim. No, I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is that if you notice, a lot of times we'll hear stories from certain people and they come off, or they have a history of mental health or a history of severe addiction, because I do believe that Hunter Biden, has severe addiction issues. And then they come out with these types of allegations. Sometimes that can be really, really tough to fully stomach, to fully digest, because of the connection, right? But then here's the other thing, though, too. Most importantly, is that he's saying that this is what the biographer said. This is not something where he's like, oh, yeah, I know this information because I got it and I was in the room and I know the truth. He said, no, Michael Wolff, the biographer, said these things. This is not him just shooting from the hip, making this thing up. Right? So I think that's also very important to remember, that he's not just pulling this out of his ass out of nowhere. He heard it from someone, a biographer, and he's just repeating it. But Melania is going after Hunter Biden. And I think that's important to know. She's not going after Michael Wolff, if you've noticed. She's not suing Michael Wolff, from what we understand, unless there's been some updates as of late. She is suing Hunter Biden for $1 billion. Do the math. Does that seem a little weird? You hear it in the interview. It's not like he said, yeah, during one of my drunken stupors, I found out this, that, and the third. No, he's like, I heard that from the biographer that she was introduced to Trump through Epstein Maxwell. That's a huge piece of information. And yes, Wolff is most definitely doing interviews, baby. He is doing interviews like a mother lover. He's been all up on the Daily Beast. He has been on Midas Touch. He has been on all kinds of platforms. Bald guy, glasses. I'll try to pull up a photo of him or a video of him in just a little bit. But oh, yes, baby. He has been all up in these interviews, and he's been talking even more information. Like I said, he said he has seen photographs, Polaroids of Trump standing there with a wet spot on the front of his pants, and girls allegedly bending over and pointing at it, laughing, saying that these are young-looking girls, young-looking women. He didn't say, I don't know how old they were, whatever, but there's photographs, Polaroids of girls standing there as he's standing there with this soiled pants, and they're pointing and laughing. Stuff like that, right? They have that. He says this in these interviews. Real talk. But I'm trying to point out that I think it's very interesting that Melania is going after Hunter Biden and not Michael Wolff. That doesn't make sense. And yes, I do agree. I do believe this too. A broken clock can be right 2 times a day. Candace Owens. Okay? Whoa. Hold on. Let's not get it twisted. Hold on. Let's rewind that really quick. Hold on. Not Candace Owens with the Macron situation. Okay? That is, she's DOA on that one. I'm sorry. Just saying. But let's get into this article, okay? So Trump told Melania to go forward with legal action against Hunter Biden over Epstein relationship comments. So President Trump confirmed Thursday morning that Melania Trump's attorneys are threatening legal action against Hunter Biden, saying he told her to go, quote unquote, go forward. I've done pretty well on these lawsuits lately. And I said, go forward. Jeffrey Epstein has nothing to do with Melania and I introducing. But they do that. They make up stories. Okay, this is what he told Fox News Radio. So the legal threat sentence centers on a claim Biden made in an interview on YouTube about the Trump's relationship to Jeffrey Epstein, according to the journalist who conducted the interview, and a copy of the attorney letter obtained by Fox News. So Andrew Callaghan, host of the YouTube series Channel 5, said on his channel that he had received a legal demand for the First Lady asking to retract a video from last week, which currently has 1.3 million views. And yeah, it is quite the interview. I mean, Hunter Biden's dropping F-bombs left and right. He had a lot to say. Okay, it is an interesting listen. Take a listen if you have any interest, okay? But moving on, Melania Trump is seeking a $1 billion, okay, in damages if they don't take down the video. She also wants a formal apology from Mr. Hunter Biden himself. All right. In my hand is a legal demand letter addressed to Mr. Hunter Biden from the First Lady of the United States demanding a retraction of Channel 5's video called Hunter Biden Returns, in which Mr. Biden here makes some speculative comments about the relationship between Jeffrey Epstein, Melania Trump, and Donald Trump. Callaghan said at the beginning of a follow-up interview with Biden posted on Thursday. So she is going for $1 billion in damages if he does not take down the interview, which is interesting. But like I said, he heard it from the biographer, Michael Wolff. She's not going after the biographer. She's going after Hunter Biden, which is strange. Also, $1 billion. That's a little intimidating, don't you think? That's some financial intimidation, don't you think? $1 billion. No one has $1 billion. Not a lot of, let me say that again, because there's a lot of people who have $1 billion, but you know what I mean. Not a lot of people have $1 billion. And you think Hunter Biden has $1 billion? And again, she is suing him and not the biographer that's been out here saying these kinds of things. Hold on. Yeah, it is excessive. It's very excessive. So he went back onto Channel 5 with the interviewer talking about this lawsuit, and he had some choice words to say. Let's take a look at this.
Fact of the matter is that I don't think that these threats of a lawsuit are add up to anything other than a design distraction, because it's not about who introduced whom to who. I don't know how that's in any way rises to the level of defamation to begin with, but the fact of the matter is that this is about hundreds, if not over 1,000 minors, children who were raped by Jeffrey Epstein. And I don't believe in guilt by association alone, but the connections have become they're so glaringly obvious that I think they're trying to use other things to distract. And I also think they're bullies, and they think that $1 billion is going to scare me, which is the fact of the matter is that if they'd like to go, I have this to say to them. If they want to sit down for a deposition and clarify the nature of the relationship between Jeffrey Epstein, if the president and the first lady want to do that, and all of the known associates around them at the time of whatever time that they met, I'm more than happy to provide them the platform to be able to do it.
He's saying, let's freaking go. Okay? That's basically what he's saying. He's like, you know what? Y'all can miss me with the nonsense in trying to basically intimidate me, bully me around by dropping $1 billion. Because you think money and that number, $1 billion, is going to make me scared and run. He's like, go ahead. He's like, this is for the kids. We talk about kids. We talking about the victims. Go ahead. Yeah, F around and find out, basically. He's like, you know what? You F around and find out. You're going to see what's going to happen. You're going to see what's going to happen real quick. Now, 1 second. I'm just checking the live. So then now let me show you Michael Wolff. Let me show you Michael Wolff. Let me show you Michael Wolff. Where is he? There he is. Let me pull this up for you guys, because you guys need to see, Because I know some of you are like, who's this Michael Wolff guy? Well, he's here. He's had a lot to say, and this is the source. This is the source of it all, y'all. He is the source of it all. Hold on. Ooh, boy. Ooh, boy. This is about to get hairy. This is going to get hairy. Let's take a look. I just found a spot. Let's take a look.
Coincidence? In audio recordings Michael Wolff made before Epstein's death, Epstein allegedly hinted that things between Trump and Melania may have first turned intimate on his infamous private jet, the Lolita Express. Now, that's a deeply unsettling claim, and it's one that needs to be taken with serious caution. Wolff didn't hold back. He openly questioned Melania's role in all this. Where does she fit into Epstein's world?
This man right here is Michael Wolff. Just so you know, this is the guy who has been in a copious amount of interviews ever since the whole Epstein file thing blew up. He's been out here talking like crazy. Now, here's the thing. I believe this guy. I know some of y'all. What? Yes, I do believe this guy. Why? He was a biographer. He has been doing his due diligence. He's been doing some serious research. I don't think this guy would go out of his way, jump out of the darkness, uncushify his cushy lifestyle to make things difficult for himself. I truly don't think he would do that. So this is Michael Wolff, because some of y'all are like, nah, who's Michael Wolff? This is the guy. And he has been in countless interviews talking about this whole thing. And he dropped so many bombshells over the past few weeks, over the past month. Can you believe it's been that long? It's been more than a month, and we still haven't even gotten the 1 minute that they said that they were going to give us that was missing from Epstein's cell the night of his demise. Ain't that interesting? Ain't that interesting? Ain't that interesting? Just saying. Nobody else sees it interesting enough for you? Ain't it interesting? Anyway, Michael Wolff has been saying these things for a while now. So all Hunter Biden was saying is what Michael Wolff has been saying. So my question, it begs the question, why? And you just heard it here, just a little bit. I don't know this video or this channel. I just pulled it up because I wanted to find a quick still or a quick image of Michael Wolff. But you even heard them say that he was saying that they were bumping uglies. The first time they ever made sweet love was on the Lolita Express. Okay? And that's information came from that man right here. Michael Wolff. I heard saying all kinds of stuff. Ain't that something crazy? Interesting enough. But like I said, she is so about Hunter Biden when she should be that angry and that appalled towards this man right here. So her selective outrage is very telling, don't you think? Or am I the only one that sees that? I mean, shoot, maybe I am the only one that sees that. Maybe I am. But I truly think that that is very telling. Her selective outrage is, I'm going to go after Hunter because let's be real, they don't like the Bidens. The Bidens are trash in their personal opinion. Hunter Biden's laptop and all that stuff, all that crap that was going on, right? Remember all that? It was a bad look. It was bad. It's not great for Hunter Biden. Not great for Joe Biden either. But nonetheless, they have a serious disdain for the Bidens. He goes on an interview and says, this is what I heard, and this is what a source said. Michael Wolff said this. That's not him saying, oh yeah, she did that, and and I know that for a fact. He said he was sourcing the information he got it from. So if she was actually listening to the interview, she should be mad at Michael Wolff and should be suing this dude, not Hunter Biden. But of course, it's a better look to sue Hunter Biden instead of suing him, because at the end of the day, we're talking about Hunter Biden. You see what I'm saying? You have somebody who some people look at as a mess. In a way, you'd think that she's thinking that this is an easy ground ball, that he will easily fold out of intimidation and fear. But she should be going after Michael Wolff, but she's not. Why is that? She's had plenty of opportunities to take him down by now, sue him for $1 billion and all that stuff. Now, here's the question. Is it because Hunter Biden is connected to Joe Biden and their arch nemesis is these? Or is it truly because he said something that he heard from this guy on multitudes of interviews, by the way? He's been spreading this information out on multitudes of interviews, by the way, guys. Michael Wolff. So like I said, she's trying to take out the middleman rather than take out the source, which makes no sense. It just doesn't make sense. And $1 billion truly is just an intimidation tactic. That's all it is. That is absolutely an intimidation tactic. Yeah, at the Kit Kat Club. They met at the Kit Kat Club. Why does that sound like something from like an old 1940s kind of speakeasy bar? You know what I mean? Nothing but weird, like smooth type jazz playing in the background, Nobody. They met at the Kit Kat Club. This seems weird. Because it was? Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Or just a room covered in chocolate-covered waivers. I don't know. But here it is, though, guys. Let's take a look at this. This is still... is far from a jazz club. What was the Kit Club? Now I'm going to look it up. Now Grateful's like, look it up. It's far from a jazz club. Okay, let's take a look. Or let's look it up. The Kit Kat Club in New York City. Wait a second. I see a theater. Yeah, I see it like being what I'm seeing right now is a theater. Unless it was like a Club 54 type of spot, maybe. Oh, the one in Berlin. Okay, hold on. I had New York City. I was like, it's a theater. Unless they went to go see Cats or something like that. You know what I mean? The Kit Kat Club. Oh. Oh. So the Kit Kat Club is a nightclub in Berlin, opened in March of 1994 by Austrian adult filmmaker, okay, and his life partner. So they put this together. It's a famously uninhibited nightclub known for its diverse crowd, open sexual expression, strict fetish dress code, and emphasis on music and dance. What? What? Say that. What? So how did they meet? How did they meet there? Oh my God. So they met like black pleather scraps. Was it like that? Like, if the music stopped, all you'd hear is just a whole bunch of like it's like I'm sorry. The music would come off, like the power would go out, and it would sound like there's a whole bunch of people sitting in a leather chair, moving around, shuffling around in the leather chair. Is that what it'd be? And the sound of like metal like clanging together. And zippers zipping and unzipping. That's literally like are you serious? Hold on, I'm gonna read let me read the rest of that. Hold on. Since its founding, let me repeat that again. It is a famously uninhibited nightclub known for its diverse crowd, open sexual expression, strict fetish dress code, and emphasis on music and dancing. Since its founding in 1994, Berlin's Kit Kat Club has moved locations multiple times, evolved from trance roots to a broad electronic music scene. Is this for real? I don't see what? I don't see Trump walking into a place like this. But then again, you never know, right? But what? I mean, it was founded in 1994. So, I mean, obviously the music scene is going to change. It's not like it's going to stay playing Du Hast forever. Okay. It's not like you're going to walk in and Du Hast. Like, you're not going to hear that every day. Right. It's not like you're walking in and it's freaking 9 Inch Nails music playing in the background. Right. But that would be insane if they met at a place like that. If that's actually, you know what? Hold on. Where did Trump and Melania meet? So she worked as a model in Manhattan, where Zampoli introduced her to Donald Trump in 1998. She began dating Trump shortly after. So maybe that isn't entirely true about the Kit Kat Club. Just so you know, but that would have been insane. I'm sorry. Just a whole lot of pleather. Black pleather straps everywhere. Michelle, thank you so much for the love. I commented about this in another video. Why won't Melania go after Wolf? Someone said, then he will have to reveal everything he knows about what Epstein told him and documents, if available. Yeah, the discovery would be a mother lover. It would be absolutely insane, right? So again, if she was like, I'm going to sue you for $1 billion. I don't know why it was weirdly French, but you know what I mean, right? He would have to, there would have to be a discovery, and then all that stuff would be unearthed too. So maybe she doesn't want that information out there. Maybe that's why she's not going after Michael Wolff, which still is just so weird. Okay. Carrie, thank you so much for becoming a member. Thank you so much. Welcome to the family. Thank you so much. And Grateful again, thank you so much. There's an interview with Melania, and she says it. You don't see Trump going to a club like that. Huh. Epstein/Trump. What say you? Well, yeah. No, no, yeah. No, yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. You're right. You know for a fact Trump is a freak. I'm sorry. Not sorry. I mean, come on. We're all freaks in our own way, okay? Let's be real. We're all freaks to a certain extent. Even the good old fashioned missionary is still freaky. If you really think about it, you're still getting freaky, okay? I think he found a friend who is a dog just like him, okay? Why must I chase the cat? You know what I'm saying? He found another guy saying, hey, there's nothing but a dog in me. And they were enjoying themselves. And they were sharing friends, sharing girls, chasing the same girls, sharing the same girls, and doing whatever the hell they wanted. Rich people like that, single. Well, for him, he was always cheating. Okay? I mean, I'm just saying. So so it's very interesting, right? Still a possibility. I could see him doing like that's very like that reminds me of I don't know why it makes me think of like a scene from American Psycho. I know, just roll with me, okay? But there's a scene in American Psycho in this movie where he's in this club and he's clearly like dressed like he just came out of work. You know, he's in this power suit, you know, stock market guy, right? And he's like in a room with a bunch of people wearing punk, you know, like that are punk rock, that kind of thing. But he's him and a bunch of his other friends who are dressed just like him in suits, right? So I could see Trump doing something like that with Epstein, walking into a Kit Kat club like that or anything else and just sticking out like a sore thumb because that's his uniform, right? That's his outfit. That's how he dresses, right? And it also shows that he has money, right? And it's just so you know, I'm just rich. Got a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like that could be it too. So maybe that's what it is, right? So I could see them going into a crazy place filled with black pleather straps, still wearing a full-on power suit, you know? I can see that. But here's the thing. Suing Hunter Biden for $1 billion is absolutely insane. It is definitely a tactic. And it almost seems like a moment of desperation. Because it's like, oh no, I don't want people knowing the possible truth. So I'm freaking out, right? I'm freaking out, man. We need to get him to shut up. We need him to get back on that in an interview and be like, I take it all back. My bad. I was talking crazy. I had a flashback. I don't know. Something happened. I'm sorry, guys. My bad. What I said was not true. Right? That's what she's hoping for. Because she's scared. She's scared. But it also makes you want to know, what else does Michael Wolff know? Okay. Grateful. Thank you so much. I'll try to find Melania's interview. Yeah, please find it and send it to me. Because maybe she said it as a joke. Maybe she said it in jest. I'm not sitting here trying to save Melania. Okay, I'm not. But it just seems, I got questions. Clearly, I got questions. And I'd be very interested to hear her say that she was at the Kit Kat Club. Okay? You know? Well, one thing is for sure, this interview or this conversation that they're having is lasting a lot longer than I expected. I will say that. I'll tell you what, I'm very surprised it's lasted this long. That's what she said. Hey, but it's very interesting. Let me see what else is there. What else is going on in this world that I haven't already talked about? Let's see. Sorry, guys. I'm just looking up a few things. What's interesting is happy Friday to you, Holly. Thank you so much for the love. Happy Friday to every single last one of y'all. It has been a long, long week. It's been a, excuse me. It's been a long couple weeks, to be really honest. It has been nonstop. It has been absolutely nonstop. Now, you know what? This is such a left turn, but I need to pull this up and show this to you all. There's this story. I'm just touching on this subject for 2 seconds, okay? I just want you guys to see this title, all right? Such a left turn. Just ride with me for a second. Nanny who had a biohazard diarrhea that canceled a United flight reveals why she's happy it happened. Now, why on God's green earth would you be willing to do an interview about how you went boo-boo so bad that you shut down an entire airline? I'm going to let that sink in. It's okay. I'll hold. This girl is having full-on photos of herself smiling. You know why she's smiling? Because she's not constipated anymore. She's finally been relieved. She's been released, everyone. Okay? She clearly ate something that her body didn't agree with, and then skadoosh, she destroyed a bathroom on a plane and shut the entire plane down because her poop was that explosive. Sorry, we're looking into this. So she had biohazard diarrhea on board a United Airlines. We're looking at this for a second. Just ride with me. This is a true. They made the news. It made the news. Do you understand? This made the news. This is such a big deal that it made the news. It made the news. So the plane, okay, so she did this. It triggered flight cancellations. Okay. So now she's saying she's happy that she went through the painful ordeal. I mean, clearly she's probably like 20 pounds lighter right now. But moving on, her name is Megan Reinertson. She's 29 years old, okay, from Atlanta, Georgia. Spent 90 minutes locked inside the lavatory during a July 2024. Why are we talking about this like a whole year, over a year later now? But okay, she was in a flight in July of 2024 from Newark to Indianapolis. Following her unfortunate ordeal, where more diarrhea than any human should ever have came out of her, she took to TikTok to tell her then 53 followers about it. Oh, I'm sure she's got like 1 million followers now. They're like, oh, I've done that too, girl. Just don't drink milk and eat a can of beans before you get on a flight, girl. You about to blow it up with poo. Now, she has told the Daily Mail that she's glad the incident happened because her experience has helped others deal with their own embarrassing mid-air health matters. No, it's called she got followers. She's probably making a crap ton of money, pun intended, from her telling her story of the diarrhea from hell. Okay? I'm happy that I have been able to make people feel better about their own situations. That's all I've ever wanted to do with my writing and entertainment, is being really uplifting and encouraging for me. It's been really uplifting and encouraging for me. I have had an egregious amount of people reach out to me with their own plain horror stories, which I love to hear. So, as well as prompting others to open up about their own embarrassing stories inside cramped airplane bathrooms, her story boosted her TikTok audience to a staggering 93,000 followers. That's why she's smiling. She's making money. Yeah. Like I said, Biohazard, it was that bad. I've never seen the video, but this was on Daily Mail. You know, you go through Daily Mail and they just keep on, sometimes they just put the same stuff over and over again. And this is a follow-up story. They had a follow-up story to this crap. Pun intended. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know what a bathroom looks like on a damn plane. They had to show a photo of the damn bathroom in a plane. What the okay. So she revealed that the horrifying explosion was triggered by a few bites of a bloody hamburger patty, which gave her her violent food poisoning. I had eaten part of an undercooked burger hours before I left to get back to Indiana. I only took a couple bites because I was like, ugh, that's really undercooked. So then she said that she bought the burger at the resort that she had been staying as a nanny for a family who were on vacation at the time. I don't want to out the resort. It was a really nice hotel. My stomach started rumbling, and I was like, "This is different." But it really wasn't until I got on the second flight that the pain kicked in. I was like, this is not good. So in her TikTok video about the nightmare experience, she detailed how within 30 minutes into her flight, she was drenched in sweat, crying and doubled over in pain. Yeah, okay. Fearing she'd end up like the infamous Delta passenger who soiled herself mid-flight, she made it to the bathroom just in time. For the next 20 minutes, I had more diarrhea than any human should ever have in their life. She also added that she soon started vomiting as well. Oh my God. So she recalled panicking in the tiny claustrophobic area before she had the presence before she had the presence of mind to scream for help from the flight attendants who gave her bags. The flight crew allowed her to stay in the bathroom for the entire flight. They even got special clearance from the pilot to allow her to remain where she was for landing. Yeah, they're probably like, no, you stay right there. No, you ain't moving. No. Don't even open this door, because now we in a contained area. Everyone's going to be puking. You know what I mean? The flight crew allowed her to stay in the bathroom. Oh, I already said that. She said she couldn't make it back to her seat in her condition, which prompted the flight attendant to tell her through the door to brace for impact. Once they were on the ground, she was told that the next flight with that plane had been canceled. Sheesh. Flight attendant comes over and says, everybody's off the plane now. Go ahead and take your time and come out when you can. The next flight has been canceled. In the moment, I'm not thinking it was because of me. The flight attendant then told her that a hazmat team would be coming in to clean up her mess. Yeah. She's got it. So you canceled the flight because of me, because you don't know if I brought something back from Portugal. I'm a biohazard. I'm patient zero, she said. She even had to be put in a wheelchair when she was ready to disembark because she couldn't walk. She had been sitting on the toilet that long that she lost ability to walk. Oh my God. Reflecting on the ordeal 1 year later, she told the Daily Mail she can absolutely see the humorous side. This is a funny story in hindsight. Is this a funny story in hindsight? 100%. There is something that this is so something that would happen to me. Even in the midst of the pain, I was like, of course this was happen to me. I didn't really have the time to be embarrassed. I was just like, oh, this sucks. Insane, guys, right? This is a girl that was stuck on a plane, dropping bombs in the plane so hardcore that they had to cancel flights. They had to cancel that plane. Interesting. So, yeah, I know. Left turn. But I just saw it and I'm like, who would want to do an interview about that? Real talk. Yes, that was me just blowing it up. That's just weird to me, guys. I'm sorry. That's just weird. But let's continue on. I'm going to see if they've come out yet, but there are people out. Let's take a look at this. Ooh, some action outside. People are in there. Let's take a look. Crazy. This is Alaska. That's a lot of people in Alaska. I didn't know there was so many people in Alaska. Interesting. Some people are saying that during that press conference that we saw where they're like, thank you, press, right? They're now saying that one post is basically saying like Trump was trying to protect Putin because people were asking him, even in that room, right before they said, thank you, press, if he was going to stop taking the lives of civilians. And as soon as that was heard, Trump was like, thank you so much. Time for you to go. Right? Yeah, where is Sarah Palin? That's a good question, too. I haven't heard that name. Sarah Palin. I'm sorry. Sarah Palin. I haven't heard that name in a long time. Hmm. Sorry, guys. I'm checking to see if there's any more updates. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be doing anything. I mean, I don't think there's going to be yeah, I'm curious how this is all going to go down. How the conversation's going in that room, if it's going exactly how it should be, or if Putin is being very difficult. But I feel like if he was very difficult, I feel like the conversation would have ended already, right? And it doesn't look like it's. I don't think it clearly hasn't ended yet. They would have been out there to give everybody a briefing on what's going on. So this is interesting. Hmm. Well. Well, guys, unfortunately, I'm going to have to wrap up here. Um, I was hoping that there would be, showing us more information or something. So I guess we're just going to have to wait and see what happens as the day continues. I mean, obviously, they're in there for they've been in there for a good while now. I'm happy about that because that could mean something good could come out of this. And if it does, I will be absolutely impressed. I'll be shocked and impressed. All right? Let's be real. If there could really be peace between these two countries, a real ceasefire, that would be amazing. The only thing I'm curious about though is what's the deal? What's the deal that is going to be made? Do we have to provide something for Russia? You know what I mean? But then it's also at the same time, depending on what Zelensky is down for too. So I am kind of curious as to what the outcome for this whole thing is going to be, right? But I'm going to keep an eye on it because I think this is obviously very, very fascinating, and I really, really want peace if it can be done in the best way possible. I don't want peace if it's going to cause more chaos, more problems, or something like that. Yeah, there will be a presser later for sure. But for right now, I got to hop off, unfortunately. But, I'll be back on. I'll try to get back on this evening to talk to you guys about it. But we'll see, right? I got some things I got to take care of, unfortunately. But guys, again, we got a lot that we have to work on as a world, as a country. We do need peace. And if we can make peace happen here really soon, this would be a really great step in a good direction, I would hope. Only problem is I would hope that this doesn't mean that this is, we stop the wars here, but then there's wars here on American soil. I don't want to see that either. So I'm hoping that, we just have peace throughout, right? But that is the show, guys. Appreciate you guys for being here. It really means a lot. Of course, if there's any updates, I'll let you guys know for sure. But please do me a favor, hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching on those other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, make sure you hit that follow button, okay, on those platforms. Definitely follow me on my Instagram and my TikTok because I'm pumping out videos. Shoot, you're getting like at minimum 2 to 3 videos a day, okay? At minimum, okay? And I've been pumping them out on TikTok and on Instagram. So please go follow. That'd be greatly appreciated over there too. Subscribe here on my main channel, okay? Go over to my second channel on YouTube, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe over there. Subscribe to Pascal Raw. That'd be greatly appreciated as well. Hit that notification bell on all those platforms so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, okay? That'd be greatly appreciated. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you think it's funny. That's coming out too. And if you don't know what we're talking about, go check it out. It's on TikTok and Instagram as well. Okay. Put out a little sample of a song that I worked on that hopefully we'll have a music video here very, very soon for. So again, hit that notification bell on all those platforms. Hit that join button down below, become a member, check out my Patreon, and of course, check out PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys? But anyway, guys, it's time to get going. Much love to you guys. We'll be talking here very, very soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.